Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by the head hockey coach at Canton High School. That, of course, is Justin Maedel. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, of course. Coming in from where Canton plays at home. Of course, it's also where you work. Um, it's what's it like to work in the same place where you guys play?
Uh, it's nice because I know the lay of the land here, and I always have the schedules. So if I need to find a practice ice or switch a game time or something, it's pretty easy for me to do that compared to other coaches because I work here. So it's nice. It sometimes nice to see a different scenery in other rinks, but for the most part, it's nice. It's close to the house, so it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. And of course, we're embarking on another season. Lots of changes with you guys. How excited are you? Do you have your team yet? Is your team finalized yet?
Yes, we had trials Monday and Tuesday. Yesterday we had the parent meeting, booster meeting, and then today we hit the ice for practice. It's summer's such a short season for all of us to coach for like the 4 or 5 months that or weeks that it is, and then we had to step away from them for 3 months, which isn't fun. So I'm excited to get back on the ice with the guys and see the red and white flying around the ice.
Yeah. And obviously there's a lot of new faces in the league this year. I think that there's at least four. Of course, what's that going to be like with of course you're back, but all the new faces that are going to be in the league, including the other two Plymouth schools.
Yeah, there's been a little rotation. With Brian Dallas coming over from Dearborn to Plymouth, and then Ryan going over to Northville. That's been at Salem for a lot of years. It'll, you know, it's still going to be a big hype for our park games when we play each other. Those games are always going to be packed and busy and fun to coach in and to be a part of. But it'll be interesting playing Ryan with Northville, like the orange and brown or black, because before I took the Canton job, I did coach underneath Ryan for the prep team for Salem for
Yeah.
5 years. So me and Ryan go back quite a few years now, and it's going to be different to see him in a different color, get up over there. But it'll be fun. It'll be exciting, and it'd be great to see what he does over there. It'd be great to see what Brian can do with Plymouth, and this year I think across the whole state it's going to be a whole different high school season than years past. I think the different age groups now that I think the '05s, most of the '05s, and a few of the late '04s are all seniors. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. KLA has our media day on Monday
Yeah.
at Novi School, so it'll be good to see Ryan in the Northville stuff, and then also I don't think I've ever officially met Brian when he was over at Dearborn because we never played them, but it'll be very nice to introduce myself to him and welcome to the park kind of thing. When with Jake Seeley taking over Salem, I mean he's an alumni. He's been with Ryan the last couple of years with JVs, and I know very very well so that Jake has also helped out with the varsity guys the last few years as well, also coaching the JV. So it'll be good to welcome him. I know he has an idea of the KLAA because he's played in it, and he's also helped Ryan with Salem varsity for the past couple of years. So it'll be good to see everybody around town and get everybody together and talk about our season and the hopes of what we're going to do, and get on the ice and start playing some games in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's talk about your team. I know that it's kind of talk about who's names to watch and who's coming back.
So we graduated I think 8 seniors last year out of a 17-man roster. We have 8 returning guys, coming back. Captain Matthew Thibodeau, Captain Nolan Lennon. He's played with us his freshman year. He played AAA for a year, and then he came back to us last year. So Matthew will be on the front line forward, and then Nolan will be on the back end, directing our defense. We have two freshmen this year. Usually I always take one, but this year I decided that taking two wouldn't be a bad idea, and we have one freshman, Nick Parrish, played defense for us last year as well. So it'll be great having him back. He's a football guy, so football ended, and then he got back on the ice with us. And then our junior class, returning Luke Amos, Nate Oberleisen, and then we called up a lot of JV guys last year because of us having the smaller roster, so it allowed us to bring up some guys, and we got a handful of those guys up, and then other kids that made the impression on us in the summer, and did well in the fall, and it'll be good. We got goalie situation for us is a little bit different this year. Our returning goalie Nate Ezrovich tore his ACL in the summer lacrosse, so he's out for the season. So now we have Andrew Berkut, that is going to be a sophomore. He got called up late last year, but he's going to be taking the reins. And then we have one goalie on our JV team. So right now we only got two goalies in the program, but we're going to make do. And some of the players have already kind of volunteered to say, hey, if something happens or if need be, we'll step up and put on the goalie equipment. And I said, you couldn't pay me to do that.
Yeah, for sure. You talked about that, and also with the league this year and how it's all set up, with the divisions and everything. That's going to be another interesting talking point as the year goes along, with a lot of divisions looking a lot different.
Yeah, especially for our region. I mean, so it used to be where Plymouth, Canton, and Salem were all in the same region, and then Ryan, I think, was the first one to kind of opt up to D1. And then I know the last year Jerry Vento was around, he opted up for D1 his year. So then last year, I think Darren still had, because it's a 2-year, I think, opt up contract. So it was really weird, us being the only ones in D2. And then, now they changed the regions and went by the class enrollment, and it'll be interesting. I mean, I think it puts us, Salem, Plymouth, Northville, possibly Novi, and then I think Stevenson all in the same region, I think, if I'm correct. I'm not totally sure, but I thought that's what I've seen, I think.
Yeah, and that's obviously gonna play an impact there. Just kind of talk about what the league's going to really kind of look like as kind of beginning your season. What couple games you got coming up?
So we have our home opener. We have actually how the schedule fell. We have a lot of home games in November, December. Our senior night this year is in January, because in February we're on the road the whole entire month. So our home games are really front-ended. We open up on Wednesday the 16th versus Birmingham United. Known Zach for quite a few years now. And, we always want to – I think last year we opened up against them too. So it's been a kind of a cool, first week getting everything kind of fine-tuned. And last year we had a overtime game that could have went either way. So we open up against them, and then Friday the 18th, we play Lake Orion. So we went out to Lake Orion last year. So they're coming to us this year. Another one, first two games, I can't remember if it was Lake Orion, then Birmingham, or Birmingham, then Lake Orion. But both games last year went into OT. So it was kind of a nail biter right at the beginning of the season. And then Saturday, the 19th, we started our first KLA game. We have Franklin here at the Arctic Edge. And then it leads into, getting the day before Thanksgiving, we have Plymouth. So another KLA game.
Yeah, for sure. It's and of course a park game as well. So that's
Yep.
what do you want to see out of your team in the first few games as we close in? Now that you have your team set, what do you want to see out of them as we head into play in a few weeks?
Well, with us being a little bit younger, because when I say we have 8 seniors, we have I think about 3 or 4 on forward, 3 or 4 on defense, and then Nate Azarovich, being a senior. We're going to have to really figure a good way of competing this year. We're going to have to be fast. We're going to have to be strong in front of the net. We might have a lot of 1 or 2 goal games. So we're just going to have to really battle and play a more of a defensive structured system. Where last few years with Tyler Husted, Joel Fonovic, Cam Kitts, Danny Fletcher, we had the ability to play more of a offensive game. With them graduating last year, it's just we got to kind of feel out our team a little bit, probably for the next week or so, or 2 weeks or a month. Who knows? We might change what we want to do 3 times this year. But we definitely want speed and as many shots as we can get on the net, and then, hold off our team roughly to about 20 shots a game if we can, and keep the shots on the outside for, our younger goalie to feel the puck out and, kind of get used to it a little bit and feel comfortable for himself, because being a goalie, A, is hard. B, being a sophomore and being the goalie on varsity, it's complicated, right? And it definitely is going to be, we're going to work with him as much as we can, and our goalie coach as well. And, really just trying to get him to be comfortable and stop as many pucks as he can.
All right. Well, Justin, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck this season to you guys.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.